No, that's quite all right. Everybody's coming here and they're all excited. I release 2 new issues every month, and I think I'm going to share them both with you today. This first one's from Down in the Dirt, and it's called The Church. They are based on a piece of writing from someone in the book, and it's called The Church. So I had a Montreal church that I photographed, and I'm like, that'll be good. I think that's a good cover. So I was going to read a few from here before trying to go on to the next book, because I think it'll be short. As I've explained to our host here, sometimes when somebody writes a piece of prose and it's just long enough that it just leaves a little bit of extra white space, I'll put something like a haiku of my own, something tiny, and shove it in there. Because if I get a poem from somebody that is short, I'm going to bother to give them their space on the page. I wouldn't do that to someone's writing in the actual page. So this first one was about death, and it's called J.Y. Asks. The philosophers ask, if all we are chemicals, why do we cry? He thinks after a loved one dies, and he is filled with questions and angst.
That's really powerful.
That's
true. It's true.
And then at the end of the book, I usually shove a few poems of mine, and I have to show, if I can be able to show that there is a big old seal. Big old seal on the cover, because nobody knows what this means for the short poem. It's called Zoo, Putting on a Show. I finally found a nice place to sleep on the ice, close to the Southern Ocean. The warm air comes up from the water, and the sun reflects off the ice quite nicely. A perfect spot. So let me just lay here and enjoy myself. Let me close my eyes, bask in the sun. But then I hear a strange noise coming from the water, and now above the water there are fish that don't swim but make the strangest noises I've ever heard. And I hear these clicking noises from their floating fishcraft, and all I think is, leave me alone. This isn't a zoo. I'm not putting on a show for you. Just let me warm up in the sun. This is what I thought after these poor little seals in the Antarctic would just have to look at us in our little zodiac boats, coming up and clicking and taking picture after picture after. They're just, I'm like, I'm not going to take tons of pictures because they're just like, they're looking up like, I'm not getting up for you. Everyone's going home. These, I believe one of them was accepted through a very nice lady here in the audience. This first one is called You and I Walking Through Georgetown. It's springtime again, and here we are, walking down the streets, smelling flowers at 3 a.m. Texas bluebonnets, wine cups, buttercups. It's still a little cool. It's still early April as the wind rushes through our clothes. Hands clasped, walking in stride. Love is everywhere on this night. Tighten your grip on each other. Smell flowers in the breeze. It's a beautiful wind. I accompanied that with the other one that I had written at that time, which I used as the last poem at my last show in Chicago last year. Because I told them, even though this is called Returning to Georgetown, I believe it could be returning to anywhere. If you just imagine it as your own town. This is called Returning to Georgetown. Everyone is used to the noise, traffic rumbling down the roads, airplanes arcing overhead. But avoid what man has done, that human cacophony of clutter, and come over here instead. It almost seems like a sacred place. Stand still for the birds' symphony as they sing from the tops of trees. Look over at the plants near your feet and watch the crickets' percussion. What's a car for when you have these? Look around and ask yourself, is there really any place you need to be, or anything else you'd really rather do? Take a deep breath. You found that right here has everything you need. Welcome home. We've missed you. And that was the end of the Down in the Dirt for May, but I am pleased to be able to share with you also things from the new issue of CC&B magazine, which is called About the Arts. Oh, and as soon as I'm gone, she's going to be up here. And it's called About the Arts. And this was a piece done by my sister. Actually, I might save readings for it and let her come up and read. But I'm going to do this question. I've had this painting and I love it. And if you see this thing, I even pose it out as a question. I ask people, which nobody has postulated, what is this a painting of? Nobody gets it right. I know what it is. I know what it is. And it says it in the issue, what this was a painting was a representation of. I didn't get it. I don't know if anybody ever does. And they're like, you see things like boxes, people, is it like bridges, is there an alley? You know, you just try to, but you never get it. and I will share that with you guys and read something else after you've come up to read.
Oh.
Is that good for you?
Ron Joyce.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, I've only got a little time, obviously.
That's why we're saying you come up.
Great.
No problem.
Thank you.
I cut my picture, so.